What up, ninjas? This is the Crimson Jester back with another episode of Shootin' the MainStream. I'm doing it solo tonight. My homie's not here. He's got a little message for y'all. He recorded it earlier. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, juggalos and juggalettes and all the homies from other sets. It's your boy El Toro Loco. I have a previous engagement that I have to attend to, so I cannot attend this taping of the podcast. In the meantime, enjoy the podcast with the Crimson Jester and Relentless, and I'll be back for the next episode. Whoop, whoop.
So tonight we got a good episode tonight. It's jam-packed. We got our homie here, 716 recording artist, Relentless. We got a bunch of questions. Hope you guys can get to know him more better and check him out. Let's start it off right off the bat. So bring us back to your childhood, homie. Where were you born and how did you grow up?
Well, I was born in Buffalo, New York, Mercy Hospital, February 25th, 1991. And I just grew up like anybody else. You know, learning different things in life, like, you know, how to manage my money and how to have fun and play football and, you know, random shit like that.
What artist did you get into when you were younger? What artist got you into the whole rap scene?
First song I ever heard that was hip-hop ever was Coolio, Fantastic Voyage. I remember hearing it back in my mom's Chrysler New Yorker. I was probably about 3-4 years old, and ever since then I fell in love with it, and I've listened to that song for 20-something years now.
I gotta say one thing about Coolio, though. Coolio, if you ever see him live on a stage, he's just fucking garbage. I'll tell you. Me and Nikki, we went to the Happy Days tour in Cleveland with ICP and Cottonmouth Kings, and Coolio opened up. That dude was so fucked up before he even got on the stage. Like, we thought he was gonna fall over drunk. Like, he was dancing, doing the bunny hop and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? What am I watching? Nikki's laughing her ass off. Dude's in front of her dissing him. We see that he's got a Juggalo tattoo spelled wrong. Like, how do you spell Juggalo wrong? Like, he spelled it Jugalo. I was like, dude, you just paid for a fucked up tattoo, bro. It was fucking hysterical. Like, people were throwing shit at him. When he did Gangster's Paradise, there was a point at the very end where he was on his knees with his eyes closed. People were throwing beer at him and shit like that. It was fucking horrible.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The thing I didn't feel respect about is, the one thing everybody knows about ICP is when you do a tour with them, you go out and you do Faygo Armageddon with them. That's just a show of respect, throwing Faygo on the fans. Didn't even come out. Dude left right before the end of the show.
Wow.
Wasn't even on the rest of the tour. It was fucking insane. So what influences and experiences do you do day to day to write music? Success, failures, sadness? This is actually one of Dan's questions that he wrote. There's a bunch of them in there, so.
Alright, well, really when it comes down to me getting influenced by music, it's just basically life. Whatever's going on at any time, and I'm just sitting there and it just pops in my head, I just start writing. And I write probably 10-15 times a day, so it's pretty much whatever's going on in life, whether it's good or bad, or I'm doing good, I'm failing at something, it's my life 24/7, and that's pretty much what influences me day to day.
Hell yeah, I mean, that's how you gotta do it. You gotta do music that you can pick up, because we've had conversations where I've said, if more artists were more relatable on the shit that you do from day to day, I think music would be a lot better. That's what's wrong with the mainstream hip-hop game right now, is they're rapping about stuff that I know nothing about. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big drug head, so I don't know all about drugs. I don't know all about freaking riding around with rims and bling and shit and fucking going to clubs. Dude, I'm almost 30 years old. I ain't going to no fucking clubs.
No, I know what you mean. Hey, man, I'm a father. I don't got time for that shit.
Exactly. Like, if they talk more about real life shit that people feel, you know, I think it'd be a lot relatable. I mean, just, that's why I like certain artists, because they bring it down to your level and be like, listen, this is the hardships that we deal with in life. And you could relate to that. Like pain of death of friends and shit like that, because everybody's had friends that died, and just that shit makes you think more about it. So what's something that most people do not know about you?
Most people do not know about me. I'm obsessed with Halloween, and I watch it at least 3 to 4 times a week to fall asleep. The original movie.
Damn, I haven't seen that movie in forever. That's got to be a very big classic movie to me because I'm a big fan of John Carpenter. Um, he's one of the reasons why I became a horror fan. I mean, not even just Halloween. Like the man's a genius in his own right. I mean, he's made classics. He's made Halloween. He's made The Thing.
They Live.
They Live.
Yep.
That's a funny movie though. They Live, because not a lot of people know this. Roddy Piper was in that movie.
Yep.
Freaking early back in the day, Roddy Piper, when he was in his run with the WWF at that point, when it was known as WWF.
He was jacked too.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people know that.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter, he has nightmares. Not a lot of people know that. He has nightmares on what he makes movies out of. Like, he takes his nightmares into his film and artwork. Same thing with Wes Craven. Wes Craven does the same thing. Like, if more horror people would do less gore and more suspense and be like John Carpenter, I think the horror movie genre today would be so much better. So much better, hands down. I mean, what else? Let's see. John Carpenter did Body Bags, which was a good movie. He did what else? Prince of Darkness, with the actual original guy that played Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance, rest in peace.
Alice Cooper was in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, hands down, if you guys haven't checked out any of the movies that I just said by John Carpenter, go out and check that movie. It's definitely good for a popcorn night. Trust me. The man is a genius at his art, and it should not be missed.
Let me add one thing about John Carpenter and the movie They Live. You know where you see Obey everywhere?
Yeah.
All that Obey shit on people's hats and T-shirts? That's from that movie when he puts the glasses on and he sees it on the billboards.
Now, if that shit really happened, that shit would creep me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Put sunglasses and see like most of the people are fucking aliens and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking nuts. Out of all your music you've made, what songs you feel are your favorite to date?
Favorite songs? Whew. Hit 'Em would be one.
That's a good song.
Because Hit 'Em was just lyrically insane, and it was just me being me and just anger and just everything into it. I would say Cruisin', which hasn't been on a CD, but it's been on YouTube and been popular. Cruisin' was just about what we do. I get bored, boys ready to drive, being designated driver, I drink, we just cruise around, have fun. I mean, we used to throw shit at people, get arrested, get pulled over, the whole 9 yards.
Fun times of being a youngin'.
Yeah. Pure Evil's another one because of my obsession with Michael Myers. And it's funny because that song, my grandfather loved a lot. He thought that was amazing. And I wouldn't think he would like that, but that's a big song. And other songs that I've made that I really liked, I can't even think. I think that's pretty much it.
Now, I'll say something about Pure Evil. Everybody that's heard me talk, I love that fucking song. Ever since I seen the video, I was like, I bumped my head. I was like, this song is fucking dope. And then when our homie Pomar was like, we're going to put it on the Hatchet Radio, I was like, fuck yes. I was like, that video is just hands down one of the best videos I've ever seen. Another video, if I'm correct, it was the video where the guy was stone cold.
Lyrical Apocalypse.
That's another good fucking video that you gotta bob your head to. If you guys get a chance, go to YouTube, put in Relentless, put in Pure Evil, or Lyrical Apocalypse. Check those shits out. They're fucking dope, and you won't fucking be mad you didn't do it. Who is typically your fan base? Juggalo, old school hip hop fans, metal fans? Who would you say your typical fan base is at this point?
My fan base right now would be, well, more recently would be Juggalos, mixed in with a lot of people from the inner city. Like, as funny as this may sound, a lot of fans I've had that have been real fans have been black. A lot of white people have not really liked it that much. So I would say my fans are mixed with Juggalos and street people pretty much. And not just black street people, I mean white, all different types of races, but mainly people like that. Because nobody out in the sticks wants to hear about, a crazy life and stuff pretty much. But that's pretty much my fan base.
See, you've done shows now. I've seen shows with you that's been with Tech Nine, Potluck, with Glasses Malone. So you've definitely opened up for some actual really incredible artists. I mean, hands down. Do you have any funny stories of the road? You can give more than one. Any funny stories when you were on the tour with Tech Nine? How Tech Nine contacted you? About the Potluck show? Any cool stories there?
We'll start with Potluck because it's freshest on my mind right now. What happened with Potluck is I did the show with Mad Dog, and I knew who Glasses Malone was for 5 years, and a lot of people there didn't know who Glasses Malone was. So when the time came, I was there with my girl right after I gave my boys a ride, and I see him walking down the street, and I'm like, oh shit, there's Glasses Malone. And he heard me or whatever, said, come by. We walked up, he's like, you want a picture? I was like, yeah, I guess. I took a picture with him, and he said, where do you want to, where do we eat around here? And I was like, we'll go to Jim's Steakout. So he goes there. I end up meeting up with him. He's like, what you should get? I was like, get the steak sub. He's like, all right. So then he says, well, after the show, come on my tour bus if you want. We'll chill. So show goes on or whatever. He gets done with his set, and his boy's like, yo, come on, let's go. Sat on the tour bus with him for an hour, and he was a real cool, down-to-earth dude. I had fun with him, laughed with him. He was talking to me about big known rappers and shit, like I knew him and shit. It was funny, man. We had a good time with him. That's a big story about that. And with Tech, it was, a year before that, I became a big fan of Tech, got into him, and I saw he was coming to Buffalo. And prior to that, I sent my CD, which was Commitment to Excellence, the first album I ever did, to Strange Music. And I saw the show. I was like, can I get the show? And it was through no entertainment company at all. It was just straight Strange Music, which was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I actually did it, they called me and said, we got to call Strange. They called Strange, got on the phone with Travis. Travis said, yeah, we got the CD here. Sent it to Tech. Tech heard it. Tech said, wow, I think that kid's fucking dope. Put him on the show. Came back to me. They said, you got the show. Time came for the show. I was selling tickets right before I got on stage. And my boys were standing there, and they're like, yo, you just missed Tech. Because I was outside, and I'm like, what do you mean I missed Tech? They're like, yo, he just ran upstairs. He just said hi to us. I'm like, fuck, I missed him. So I remember I took a piss in the bathroom upstairs earlier in the day. I run up there, and the manager's standing there. He's like, oh, what's up? I was like, yo, I want to talk to Tech. He's like, nah, man, he's in the bathroom. So Tech was up in the bathroom. I come walking down the stairs. I'm like, oh, shit. He comes down the stairs, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's fucking Tech 9. Oh, my God. And I go to slap him up, and he's like, no, man, I don't slap people up like that. That's if I don't really like you. And he put his fist over his heart, and he's like, man, it's right from the heart, man. I'll pound it. And I said, thank you very much for the show. He goes, man, don't mention it. He goes, let's do it again. I think you're great. Keep doing what you're doing. And he walked away from me.
Nice. Yeah, Tech Nine always. It's one thing he said. He loves Buffalo. He loves doing shows here and shit. I wish he would do more. The only thing I missed out on was Brother Lynch coming to Buffalo and part of the tour. Because anybody knows me knows I'm a big Brother Lynch fan. I have been since the Sickness album. Hands down, fucking amazing. That was one of his first ever albums ever come out. And everything he's done has been all underground. I mean, unless you really knew who Brother Lynch was, you really didn't hear a lot from him. So when I found out Tech Nine signed him, I was like, oh fuck, dude, this is gonna be pretty tight. And then he said, I'm doing a trilogy of albums all based on this serial killer that he came up with, called the Coat Hanger Strangler, and it just every album, Dinner in a Movie, Coat Hanger Strangler, and Mandible Lecter, from the beginning to end is one complete story. If you film that, you could film that into a horror movie, hands down. If you guys haven't checked them out, which I don't see why you haven't, definitely check it out as soon as possible. Brother Lynch should not be missed. He's definitely one of the best hip-hoppers out there, underground artist. He is what he is. He doesn't try to conform to hip-hop standards. He just does his own music. It's hands down fucking amazing. What is your take on the production and writing aspect of the actual recording songs that are now being played off as mainstream hip-hop?
It sounds like it came out of a fucking machine.
That I agree.
It just sounds like a machine. It sounds like it's the same type of beat with a little bit of different snares and hi-hats, and they say the same shit. I think it's simple-minded stuff where they walk in there in the booth and they look at a sheet, and the sheet says you have to say A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and that's the song, and then it's done. Clubs, bitches, money, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's what it sounds like nowadays. It's like a machine, just mass-produced.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of mainstream hip-hop anymore. I mean, in my opinion, I think mainstream hip-hop died when Tupac died, in my true opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, people will probably say, oh, no, you're wrong. There's been good stuff besides that. But I was a big Tupac fan. I mean, he kept it grounded. Like, he talked about real shit. He didn't always talk about going to clubs fucking drinking and shit. He talked about respecting your fellow woman and, you know, giving your fellow stuff. Tupac, hands down, was great to me. Same thing with Biggie. Biggie had his own different style of way he rapped. Biggie was a genius too. That's why they're always going to be legends in the business. I think everything since then, besides maybe Eminem, I'm not a big Eminem fan, but a lot of people say Eminem is really good. I stick more to the underground scene, like I've mentioned Tech Nine, Brother Lynch. Uh, let's see, Bizarre from D12. He became a juggler recently. Cottonmouth Kings for a while. Who else? ICP, Twisted. I mean, I stick more to the underground scene because it seems more real. I mean,
I agree 110%, especially what you said about Pac, because Pac was the last guy to say everything he wanted to say and had that worldwide exposure to say it. And after that, they made sure to keep everybody else down who wanted to say what the fuck they say. I don't play mainstream music. I don't listen to it. It's not even on my iPod or my computer. I will not listen to it. I will listen to anything I can't relate to. But as you said, I am not the biggest Eminem fan anymore either. I think he's been whack ever since he came out with Encore. And that's just how it went because he needed to make money and that was it. He had nothing else to talk about. When it comes to underground, I listen to Tech. Of course I listen to Tech. I listen to anything done by Wu-Tang. All those people. Who else do I bump? I bump Old Rakim. Shit like that. All that old shit I listen to. And there's a lot of new shit that's good. I mean, Hobson here or there. Demrick's another guy that I listen to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's with Exhibit. Exhibit came out with a new album. That was dope. I actually did a song with Demrick too, which you can see on YouTube. But I listen to a lot of people that aren't known yet. Because I feel the best artist is the artist nobody else knows about and a small group does.
Exactly.
Because they haven't been changed yet.
Exactly. That's why I always like going to shows and meeting or actually getting to hear stuff I haven't heard before. Mm-hmm. Like when ABK was here a couple months back, I went to the ABK show that Mad Dog was performing at too, and there was this guy that's from Detroit, and he's a friend of ABK's. His name was Bake Low. I never knew who he was, and a friend of mine was like, dude, go buy his CD. It's only like $5. So I was like, all right, you know what? I like picking up new shit, you know, see who it is and stuff. He went on stage, and he fucking destroyed it. Hands down destroyed it. I was like, oh my god, this dude's fucking dope. Went home, listened to the CD. I'm so happy I picked it up. He's got to be in my at least top 5 new people listening to listen to. Hands down, if you guys haven't heard Bake Low, go check him out. Go check his YouTube out. He's fucking dope. Who else? I was telling you earlier, The Truth. Mm-hmm. He comes off as not really gospel, but a soldier sent from God to take out the evils of the world in the most hip-hop hardcore fashion. And just an amazing album from beginning to end. Hobson, I like Hobson. I like his music. I really like Raw the best because I thought Raw was hands down great. I haven't really heard Knock Madness yet, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out in the future too from beginning to end because you were telling me a little while ago about the song with Tech Nine on it that I haven't heard. I definitely want to check. It's funny you brought up Exhibit because you were telling me a story a little while ago about actually getting to talk to Exhibit on the phone. Shed some light on that. Tell some people what you were talking about when you were talking about Exhibit.
What happened with the Exhibit thing is I did the song with Demrick. And they said to me when I was on the phone with them that Exhibit said, yo, that's a dope-ass song. Tell him I think he's dope. I've never heard anybody craft a song like that. And that song was set up a certain way. And it was awesome to get props from Exhibit. I mean, personally, him saying that, which was crazy as fuck. I mean, to look at Exhibit, I mean, people give him a lot of shit because of Pimp My Ride or whatever, but he was just getting a paycheck. But Exhibit is still one of the best MCs on the planet. His new album was sick. And just to hear how he thought my whole verse and the idea behind that Death Wish song was sick was insane. It really was.
Hell yeah, Exhibit, I always found Exhibit to be funny as hell in all his music. Because he's one of the artists that, you know, yeah, he's all about business and stuff, but he shows you can have fun as well doing it.
That's what hip-hop's all about in the beginning.
Hell yeah.
Slick Rick was nothing but fun.
Yeah, and he's one of the freaking top artists, legends. I mean, there was another person, I can't think his name. It's going to kill me. He was one of the biggest battle rappers from back in the day. He had beefs with, like, Nelly and shit. What the fuck's his name? Can't think of his name. He has dreads and stuff. He's just funny as hell. Oh, it's gonna bug me. I can't think of him now, but he's had beef with Nelly and shit, and I would love to see the return of battle rap. I think battle rap is fun to hear. It's fun to watch. And you've done battle rapping in the past, a couple years ago. Shed some light on that as well.
Well, the thing with battle rapping, I did one battle against Dutch Black. Well, I'm cool with Dutch. Shout out to Dutch, because Dutch is a cool ass dude. Battle rapping was ran by URL, which was formerly known as Smack. URL used to be the biggest battle league in the world, but like we said with mainstream music, they have a certain criteria with that. And what it comes down to is you got to talk about guns. You got to talk about selling shit. You got to talk about fucking people's girlfriends and shit. When you walk in there and you tell some real shit, nobody wants to hear it. When you walk in there and you tell jokes to be funny, like how battle rapping should be, and having fun with it, they don't want to hear it. So what happened with battle rapping is I went in there, I told real shit, and I was funny about it, and I got good reactions. But most of the crowd wanted to hear about me shooting people, and I'm not shooting people. So nowadays, what happened with battle rapping is it got really, really high, got really, really low, and it keeps doing it. The number one battle league on the planet is King of the Dot, which is ran in Canada. In Canada, they let you say whatever you want to say. They're funny about it. I mean, they're doing huge numbers, pay-per-views, everything. They had Raekwon as a judge. They had Drake as a judge. I
No
like
shit.
Drake. They had everybody, and they're on top of the world. With them, that's where it lives. All the other battle leagues, not necessarily, but King of the Dot's the top of the hill. And from what I did in my battling, it was fun and everything, but I realized what it was after 2 battles, and I got out.
Hell yeah. Like I said, I've seen amazing battling from back in the day because I was raised up in the west side of Buffalo and in the bad areas, and that's what we used to do for fun. Was I could never rap, so I never got involved in it. But I actually heard a whole bunch of my homies just rapping, and it can show that you can be deadly in your battle rapping, but still be boys after. I mean, it's all part of the business. But there's some good shit coming out. I mean, you definitely gotta check out battle. I would love to see battle rapping coming back, but hopefully it will definitely come back, and we'll get to hear more because music's it always evolves and it always goes 360. I mean, back in the day it was all R&B before street music came out, and then it was all street music during the 90s, and now R&B's back again, and it just keeps going 360. We'll definitely be coming back to that again, and then it'll be popular again. Who do you think outright is producing the best hip hop out right now? Underground or mainstream rap? It doesn't matter which one. Or you could give an example of both. Who do you think is producing the best hip hop underground wise, and who do you think is doing the best hip hop mainstream wise?
Mainstream, and I use this term loosely with him because I still count him as underground, but mainstream would be Big Crit. Because Big Crit is somebody who's from the South, says what he wants to say, but has got so much mainstream exposure and makes great music. He's producing some of the best hip hop in mainstream. I don't want to count him as mainstream. I hate saying it, but it's true. Underground, Tech Nine, RA the Rugged Man, anybody from the Woo when they're doing their side projects. A lot of those people. Vinny Paz is another one who makes great hip hop for being underground. He's so dope. But I mean, as far as mainstream, that's pretty much it. And underground, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Tech Nine. That's one thing. Like with the underground stuff, unless you're a big fan of it, you kind of feel a little. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I don't know how good it's gonna be. But with Tech Nine, I have never any doubts. When Tech Nine comes out with a new album, I know hands down it's gonna fucking be fire, hands down. And he's doing some collabs with people that you would never think. Like, I was never a fan of Lil Wayne, and I don't like Lil Wayne. I'll be the first one to tell you I think Lil Wayne is garbage.
I agree.
But Lil Wayne's verse in Tech Nine's song wasn't that bad at all. I'm bad with names. I can't forget who else was part of that.
T-Pain.
T-Pain is proving now he's mainstream, but he likes the underground.
Yep.
And he's been doing amazing work with Tech Nine. And I guess there's a rumor of Tech Nine doing another song with T-Pain on the EP that's supposed to come out, or maybe it's already come out, or the new album that he's already been talking about, because Tech's always working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least once a year you get an EP and you get an album. And he's always touring. So Tech, if you can hear this, if you get a chance, come back to Buffalo again, bring Brother Lynch. If you could collaborate with any artist, who would it be and why? This is from Dan.
Collaborate with any artist. Alright, Tech is already off the top. That's easy. Just because it's Tech, and that's one of my favorites.
Dude, that would be a dope ass track.
I would say besides Tech, because that's the easy one. The other one would be RA. And because RA, he knows so much about hip hop that even before we got into the studio, I would learn 1,000 things more from hip hop, and it would make me better. And me and him, because we both are at the same type of style where we say whatever the fuck we want and we go running with whatever the fuck we want, it would just be a crazy, fun, dope ass song. So I think RA would be the best one.
Yeah, I haven't really been into RA all like that until I actually got to hear the Legends album, and RA is fucking fantastic. Like, between RA and Ritz, those are two are like my newer people that I listen to all the time. You know, I've said this before. A lot of people don't like Ritz because the way he looks and the way he talks, but because he's got that big country accent and shit. Take away the image and listen to the music and listen to what he's saying in the music. And Ritz is one of the top big fucking artists out there that's been amazing. And it isn't any fucking coincidence that Tech Nine is signing all these good people, because Tech Nine, in my opinion, has the biggest label in the world right now.
Yes.
With the variety of what he does. And like I've said before, you know, Tech says it himself. The Strange Music spirit is you come in, you say fuck you with the image that you think you're supposed to do with Strange, and just do your thing, and that's the Strange Music spirit.
You're right.
I mean, we got Tech Nine that's like variety in all different sides of fucking music. Then you got the R&B and rapping of Chris. You got the country type of side with Ritz. And then you got Yellow Wolf liking Tech Nine stuff. And then you got the dark shit with Twisted Insane, but that's not official, so I don't know how official it is with Twisted Insane signing with Strange. But that would be fucking amazing if it did. You got Prozac. Prozac, hands down, is one of the top fucking artists.
I forget about him a lot.
Yeah, everybody forgets about Prozac, but Prozac's there, man. He's fucking there, and I keep talking to him every time I see him at shows. I keep saying, bring the fucking Donner Party together, man. You've been saying it for years. Bring the Donner Party. The Donner Party, for you that don't know, is the collab album of Prozac and Brother Lynch. It's supposed to be really good. I would love to see that. You know, and then you got Brother Lynch, which is the dark side. So Strange brings all forms of walking life. I'm not a big fan of Chris Crew. They're alright. I got their album. I'm not a big fan, but, you know, you're not going to like everything out there. Mm-hmm. But I still will support Strange, and anything that Strange puts out, I will put out. Stevie Stone, I am a big mark for. I think Stevie Stone is a force to be reckoned with, and is going to get to that level where Chris is and where Cut is. But I'm not a big Cut fan.
Neither am I.
I think Stevie Stone's going to be up there in the top 3 of Strange, because Stevie Stone he keeps coming, man. You can't stop Stevie Stone. Every song you can bump, and his albums keep getting better. Like, I heard him at a tech show the first time, and it was out when his New Kid Coming came out. Hands down, I thought it was great. And I was like, dude, I met him, and he was real humble, and I was like, I can't wait to hear more. He's like, thank you. He's like, you know, I love when people come up to me and tell me that they like my music. He goes, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make good stuff for you people to bump. Then he came out with the second album, even better, Rolling Stone. 808 Bendin', hands down, is one of the best songs ever come out. With Tech Nine, like, both of them just crazy verses. Then he just came out with another album. He came out with an EP, Momentum, which was awesome, and then just came out with Two Birds, One Stone. He keeps getting better and better and better, and he's up there. He's going to be up there with Tech Nine, and I have a feeling that he's going to be on the same level and the same respect as Tech Nine and Chris and Cut. But like I said, I don't know what's going on with Cut. I haven't seen Cut on a Tech tour forever, so I don't know if there's hidden beef or nothing, so I'm not going to speculate, but, you know.
To add to that, I would do a song with my favorite artist ever, Big Al, if he was alive. But he's dead.
I haven't really heard any of his stuff, so I definitely got to go check out some of his back catalog and see what comes out. Who are some of the artists you respect in the music scene right now, and why?
Respect Tech Nine because he did everything himself, 110%. Strange Music, #1 independent label, number one independent rapper. I respect RA because even after RA got blackballed from the industry in the whole 9 yards, RA has stayed himself 110%. I respect everybody from the Wu-Tang Clan because they've done their thing for years and years and left a mark on top of hip-hop that'll never be touched. I respect KRS-One for the fact that he's the teacher.
That's who I was talking about, not to interrupt you. KRS-One. That's who I was talking about that had beef with Nelly. I respect him a lot with battle rapping.
KRS-One is, they call him the teacher. He knows everything, and he's done so much throughout the years. And it's funny from when he came out to the whole street shit, 9mm goes bang, and then he was against violence and the whole 9 yards, but he's still dope. And he says, every single year, I have a battle rap verse written for the toppest rappers. Just know I can come for you. And he says that every single year, whoever's at the top, he can say something about you.
And even though he's not in the limelight anymore, back when like he was in the 80s, he's still, everybody knows who KRS-One is. Everybody knows who he is. I mean, he was in those beef DVDs, and he, you know, gave his opinions and stuff. You know, I would love to sit next to him and just shake his hand and be like, you know what, man, you're a legend in the business. You're up there with like Slick Rick and all that.
Yeah.
Who would you want to be with, or who would you want to be in the same category with when it comes to your music, and why?
The main three I've been naming, Tech, RA, Wu-Tang, and the reason for that is because it's hip-hop in its purest form, and there's nothing changed about it. It's hip-hop that I want to do, and it would be an honor to be in the same group as those legends.
Hell yeah. We've talked before about who we thought, you know, was garbage in the business and who's great. But I want to put it out there so people can hear it. Who do you think is the best and the worst rappers in the game today? And it doesn't even matter, underground, mainstream, whatever you think.
Worst rappers in the game. Everybody from Young Money. I don't even care. The people who work for Young Money are the worst on top of that, all right? All those people. Ross and the whole Maywhack music fucking bullshit that they do. Every single one. Anybody who's pretty much mainstream that's talking about some bullshit is trash. But when it comes to mainstream, that's good. I give Kendrick Lamar a lot of credit because he's done very well. I give Ab-Soul, who's not pushed as much as Kendrick.
I know who that is too, yeah.
Ab-Soul is very, very good and does not get his credit yet. Big Crit's another one who's popular, doing great, mainstream, still use it loosely, who's doing great. There's a couple of them. I mean, M used to be up there, but M ain't up there anymore. Underground, I mean, the best. Tech Nine's up there, RA's up there, Exhibit's still up there.
Oh, still.
Paz is up there still. Paz just came out with a new EP that was dope. I mean, look at Denver too. He's still up there. He's one of the best. There's a lot of people. Saigon, who gets forgotten about because he's got no promotion. He's still one of the best.
I definitely got to check him out because you were telling me about him and I haven't really heard anything from him. So I definitely got to check. I got to kind of find some of his old stuff from his old catalog. Definitely got to check him out. What should we be looking out from, or what should we be looking out for from you this year? Well, this year's almost over, so next year perhaps. Anything new coming out? Any tours coming out? Any new music coming out so that people can, if they choose to go look after this interview to see more stuff from you, is there anything else coming out in the next year that's new?
What I have coming out next year is... I'm just kidding. What's coming out next year would be another CD I'm going to do, but it's going to be a full album, but in parts. 4 CDs, 5 songs on each equal 20. Every CD has its own theme. This is the first time I'm actually saying this ever.
That sounds dope.
It's going to be called Cerebral Chambers, which is all different parts of my mind. Each cover is going to be rage, anarchy, love, elation, everything. All those together spell the word real. Each cover, when they come together, makes one big image of my brain. And that's what I'm going to do. And there'll be videos with it. And I'm going to be doing a lot of shows and a whole bunch of other stuff. So this year I have a lot planned.
Dude, I'm geeked out because, dude, just when you were saying that, dude, I was like, yo, that sounds fucking dope. I want to check that shit out. Actually, you brought one of your new songs in here that we're going to play in about a couple seconds so that you guys can check them out a little more. Because, I mean, that sounds dope, just with the whole chambers and everything, and we're going to play it right about now. Hope you guys enjoy. Take a listen.
Fast truck, speeding to the clouds. Land up, hands up, cause my time is now. Writing rhymes, igniting lines, incinerating beats. Fighting crimes, exciting times, no imitating me. One and only, none homie, in my own league. Done holy, fun homie, it's how I gotta be. Full throttle, role model, I'm becoming a man. Old fossil, yoga bako, some I can't shoot. Live it, get it, spit it, what I wanna ride it, drive it, survive it, how I wanna talk it, walk it, talk it. Now I gotta chase my dreams, make my dreams, hater. Live it, get it, spit it, what I wanna ride it, drive it, survive it, how I wanna talk it, walk it, talk it. Now I gotta chase my dreams, make my dreams, hater. Last ever, best ever, y'all keep watching. Next endeavor, test lesson, won't be stopping. Working hard, earning scars, feeding my daughter. Working hard, earning scars, being a martyr. Reviving rap, thriving at, making timeless music. Arriving fast, diving at, more ways to do it. Scheme making, dream chasing, lyrical genius. Extreme taking, be patient, y'all will just see it. Live it, get it, spit it, what I wanna ride it, drive it, survive it, how I wanna talk it, walk it, talk it. Now I gotta chase my dreams, make my dreams, hater. Live it, get it, spit it, what I wanna ride it, drive it, survive it, how I wanna talk it, walk it, talk it. Now I gotta chase my dreams, make my dreams, hater. Live it, spit it, get it, rip it, ride it, drive it, survive it, strive it. Live it, spit it, get it, rip it, ride it, drive it, survive it, strive it. Live it, spit it, get it, rip it, ride it, drive it, survive it, strive it. Live it, spit it, get it, rip it, ride it, drive it, survive it, strive it. Live it, get it, spit it, what I wanna ride it, drive it, survive it, how I wanna talk it, walk it, talk it. Now I gotta chase my dreams, make my dreams, hater. Live it, get it, spit it, what I wanna ride it, drive it, survive it, how I wanna talk it, walk it, talk it. Now I gotta chase my dreams, make my dreams, hater.
So yeah, that shit is definitely dope, homie. Will that be on a new album, or is that out somewhere where people can hear it now if they want to listen to it again?
I'm gonna put that on YouTube this weekend. It's gonna be finally out this weekend. It'll be on. I'm not even gonna put it on a CD. I'm just gonna give it out for free download, just because it was something I experimented with, like a down south feel to it and stuff about chasing my dreams and that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, your music's definitely dope. I've been a fan of you since the first time I heard you perform at the tech show and shit, and just it's dope. And that's before I even found out that you were my girl's cousin, actually legitimate cousin too. So that was even dope too. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, fucking real family right there.
Small world, man.
That's fucking for sure. Who is one artist you would like to open up for on a show that you haven't already that would make an impact on you?
Lady Gaga. No,
Really?
No, I'm fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
Oh my god, dude, I was about to be like, what the fuck?
No, I'm just messing with you. No, man.
Oh shit, I was about to look at you and shit.
No, definitely not fucking Lady Gaga. I'm just fucking with you. I'd really like to open for RA. That'd be a real fun deal.
Actually, I would like to see that because I would love to see him actually live and get to actually talk to him because a lot of people make fun of me, but you know what? I don't care all the hate that I get from this, but my thing, what I really like to do is I like to talk to rappers and pick their brain and know what they know. I love it. I love to hear the experiences they went through and shit like that. That was one of the reasons why I started this podcast because I wanted me and my friend, which is my co-host, we wanted to bring something for people to listen to laugh at, to see just two dudes just talking shit, just having the biggest fun of our life, but also being able to do artist episodes like this. And for people to get to know the artist more on another level so that you be like, oh, well, I haven't heard of him before, but, you know, he seems like somebody that I really could feel and I really can listen to, and their music can make a really big impact and totally get more into the music on a whole nother level. That's how I do it. Like, if I talk to somebody and then I see you perform and how you are makes me go, this dude was mad cool and humble. I'm gonna check his music out, and that's a lot has opened up my music genre for a lot of people. Because not only am I a rap fan, I'm a rock fan, a country fan, anything with a good beat. And I've got to meet some cool people along the way. One of the coolest people I met was this past year. I think, was it it was the Twisted show that I got to meet Little White. Little White is a dope-ass motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now. Getting to actually talk to him, he's just fucking cool as hell. I don't know if he was high as hell, though.
Probably.
But he was cool. Like, I mean, that whole show was great with him and Twisted. I mean, it kind of felt right. You would never see Little White on an ICP-related Twisted show. But, that's alright, man. I mean, never before on an ICP tour have I seen, like, a band, like, a rapper like Little White go with Twisted. And that's the one thing I loved about Twisted leaving Psychopathic was it opened their door for future collabs with people that you would never, ever see. I mean, it is just hands down, Twisted's doing the right thing, and anybody that had any doubts about Twisted making an impact after leaving Psychopathic, they just proved that out the door. I mean, hands down. Is there any local groups you would like to go on tour with? Like, say you want to do a local tour, like, in the next couple months. Who would you go out that people wouldn't know or would know? Who would you want to go on tour with?
The problem is I don't pay attention to a lot of other people. That's kind of where I get stuck.
Business aspect.
Yeah, like I just kind of pay attention to myself and stay in my own realm, really. There hasn't been many people I've heard, really. So I can't even give you an answer because I just haven't listened to anybody.
One tour I would love to see come from you is I would love for SND, Sand Nerve Damage, and for you to open up something,
Yeah.
And I think that would be hands down. So DJ Yags, if you're hearing, there's a shout out to you, man. Come talk to this cat. Let's get something going, man. More music in the underground is better than not having any music at all.
I'm down for that.
What are some goals you strive to achieve with your music?
Goals I strive to achieve is to be able to live comfortably off music and never work a day in my life. And by that, I mean I don't want to have billions and billions and billions of dollars. I want to just make enough where I can have a nice house and I don't have to work and I can wake up, go to the studio, make music, tour, and come back home.
I respect that. I mean, even if you did make millions of dollars, to me, it doesn't matter how much money you got. It's the way that you act because money changes people. And I've seen that happen in mainstream rap and underground rap. Once you make it, you're either a real human being and you keep it real on the whole level, or you become that I'm better than you now because I made it. And rappers like that I stopped listening to because, just because you make money because we buy your CDs.
Yep.
I mean, the fans make you. And any artist that says that the fans don't, then you're fucking full of shit, in my opinion. I mean, Tech has always kept it humble.
Yep.
Anytime I've ever talked to him, he was more wanting to know when I got into him, what songs that I liked. And I've always kept it real with him. I mean, Tech 9 has been one of my favorite rappers for a long time. Ever since Angelic. When I first heard that song and I heard Psycho Bitch, I was a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, he took fucking the Halloween beat and did his own thing.
He beat me to it.
And it was fucking dope.
But a thing to touch on what you said is I definitely believe that I would be grounded enough. And I don't know if you remember this, but I remember this vaguely where you wanted to take a picture with me. And I said to you, who the fuck am I to take a picture for? It doesn't even mean anything. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That's how I felt. Like, I'm no what? You gotta take a picture with me. Who the fuck am I?
But hey, in the end of the day, you're an artist like anybody else, and everybody should be slapping up local artists because you know what? I mean, with the beef with everybody in the local scene, I mean, it is what it is. But the local scene in Buffalo, it's hard. It's definitely hard around here to be able to do it, especially in Buffalo because there's no money in it. And that's why a lot of artists don't want to come to Buffalo because there's no money in it. But when they do, they'll tell you hands down, best fucking fan base in the world.
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
when Razakal came for the Children of the Grave tour to the basement, she's never been here, didn't know us, said she had the best time. Her and Sectanic, had the best time performing in front of us and said, we got to come back to Buffalo just when it's not cold.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, I never knew Buffalo all like that, and but she even said there's no money here, and there's no venues that want to book her because she's not like every other rapper out there. She's dark, more of the anti-religion and darkness, and not a lot of venues want to book her. And any venues that don't want to book her, you're fucking stupid because she knows how to go up on stage and fucking kill it, hands down. Here's a question that's more not really on music, but just to get your opinion on it. What is your opinion and take on the Juggalos being classified and being put in the FBI database as a hybrid loose major gang?
Juggalos are making too much money, so they gotta ruin it. The government finds a way to do it, everything. I do not believe they're a gang at all. I've never had anybody tell me, oh man, here comes a car full of Juggalos. This is their corner. This is their neighborhood in my whole entire life. I think it's idiotic because the FBI is jealous of how much money they're making and they can't touch it.
See, I'm going to add to that. I think the reason why is because any government is going to say you have a big mass, a body of people, especially as big as the Juggalo community. You got Juggalos in Australia. You got Juggalos in Canada. You got Juggalos all over the United States. Whenever you have a big, mighty mass of people all following the same direction, governments get scared,
Yep.
But most of us, we just want to fucking listen to our music, chill with our homies, and whatever. There are bad eggs out there, and there have been fucking pieces of shit that have murdered people in the Juggalo name, which fucking pisses me off because there's way too much negativity in the Juggalo scene. I claim to be a Juggalo because it saved my life. When I grew up, there wasn't a scene for me. I wasn't a stoner. I wasn't a jock. I wasn't a gothic kid. I was just me. I did my own thing. I marched my own drum beat, and the Juggalos accepted me and be like, yo, you're just like us. And they welcome everybody, rich kids, poor kids, doctors, lawyers, soldiers. But the news and media, they don't look at that. They look at all the poor kids in Buffalo and go, yeah, that's Juggalos. They're fucking dangerous and shit. You don't remember, there's Juggalos defending our country right now. One of my homies, his name's Matt Schoenheit. We call him Sonic the Hedgehog. Why? Because that kid's super fucking hyper. He's in the army right now, Big up to Matt Schoenheit, man. Keep doing your thing, keeping this country safe. They don't worry about that. They only want to see what they want to see. Mm-hmm. Like, look at the ABC News interview 2020 with ICP. When I saw it, they made ICP look fucking stupid. They cut it and edited it to a point where made Violent J look like he was illiterate. They didn't show you the full video. The full video is out there if you guys want to check it out. Violent J is one of the smartest men in the world, and he explained all his answers. And when they were like, oh, you killed child molesters and shit, they never let him give his answer. You watch the real video, he'll tell you Violent J was once molested by a stepdad. It's in his book. Not a lot of people know that. He hates child molesters. But, of course, ABC News don't give a fuck about that, So I'd say go out, learn your info before loosing them as a gang. There's always bad, good in every color. It happens all the time. You just can't judge the whole popularity to one or two bad fucking eggs.
No, they're not a gang by any means necessary. It's just they're scared, that's all.
Exactly. I know from talking to you in the past, this is a Dan question. Dan asked this question earlier. I know from talking to you in the past that you're a pro wrestling fan. What caused you to become a fan and when you were a kid?
What caused me to be a fan of wrestling was when I was younger, because all of us had the same thing, the same answer, is the element of realism was amazing. And it was just until you got old enough to realize that it's an art form and they choreograph it, which is the best Broadway show you could see. Because Broadway's
I agree with that.
That's what wrestling is, and you have to take it for what it's worth and not be an asshole and say it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. It's not. To me, it was so appealing. I see these guys doing all this crazy stuff, talking, making fun of each other. It was like a movie every single week with the same characters that you wanted to see.
Fuck
and
yeah.
It blew my mind, and I thought, I still think it's the dopest thing. People give me shit for it. I don't really give a fuck, but wrestling still is one of the greatest things. It's harder to fake a punch than actually to throw a real punch and make it look real at the end of the day.
Exactly. They're geniuses in selling their moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I take personal dig when people say, wrestling's fake. I'm going to break that down. Yes, it's fake in a sense. All the moves are choreographed. All the moves are, they're done to make it look like it hurts when it doesn't. But there's injuries. People break their leg. I mean, Triple H has ripped both quadriceps and both fucking legs. People have fucking died. I mean, Owen Hart died from hitting the turnbuckle. I mean, there's real shit out there that, that fucking is real. I mean, you go and you hit a mat and you fall on the mat on your back time after time after time. That's a lot of freaking banging on your body. Your body's only going to be able to take so much. I mean,
one person I always say who's the poster boy to prove wrestling isn't as fake as they say is Sabu. Look at
yes.
Sabu's body. Those
That's
scars
for sure.
aren't fucking makeup. That's barbed wire. That's barbed wire in his bicep bleeding out and using electrical tape to tape it up and keep going.
I've seen
matches
fought like that.
The Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia, to get out of his... He didn't even care. 5'5" dude trying to fight Japanese mafia. Nuts. He is the poster boy to prove to you that it's not as fake as you think. It's
And
one
he
of the
takes
greatest.
over. He takes some, to each their own, but, I love watching Sabu wrestle, but he takes some crazy stunts, man. He really bleeds for the audience, and he does not give a fuck. Sabu is going to be one of those fucking wrestlers that is going to live the fucking long of wrestling. The only thing I don't like is, and it happens in wrestling all the time, with TNA being TNA now, each brand has gone good times, bad times. I really wish they would leave this PG era of WWE and go back more toward the Attitude Era. But, it's going to happen. It's always a revolving door. It always changes. WWE's kind of slacking off. You've heard from the episode 1 about how I'm totally a non-John Cena fan. I think John Cena, it pisses me off that he's Super Cena all the fucking time.
Agreed.
People like him. The kids like him. The women like him. The true wrestling fans from the Attitude Era, ECW days, we can't stand him because we think that just because he does a lot for WWE, he deserves to get title after title after title after title. And there's so many more wrestlers besides John Cena that could be up there and think. A lot of people give me shit. Me and my homie Dan, we talk about friggin' Damian Sandow. A lot of people don't like him.
Sandow, definitely.
Sandow is a very amazing wrestler, and he knows how to work a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I love heels that know how to work a crowd. If you can make me hate you, where I want to hit you in real life, you're doing your job.
Yep.
Triple H was the same way. I love Triple H as a heel. Bully Ray, freaking Randy Orton. If you can legitimately make me hate you, hands down, I will tell you one of the biggest heels in the business that even hearing her name, you're just like, fuck. Vicky Guerrero.
Oh.
Vicky Guerrero with her excuse me right before everything.
Excuse me.
Everybody you will fucking hear boos from the back of the audience to the front, man. You can't hear anything. People hate her so bad. There's good prospect of wrestlers. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I don't know pro wrestling. I don't know Vince McMahon personally. I don't know why this wrestler isn't getting pushed. And it kind of pisses me off he doesn't get pushed because he's a legitimate wrestler. Daniel Bryan. Give him his chance. Daniel Bryan, a lot of hate I get. He's in the same vein as Chris Benoit. Give him a chance. He's going to fucking prove every time. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's one of the best fucking men in the business. I've talked about it countless fucking times till my voice gets tired. Dolph Ziggler is Mr. Perfect incarnate. I know everyone's going to say, no. Mr. Perfect has a son. I can't stand Curtis Axel. He has no charisma. He has no personality. He just sucks. The only reason why they gave him the Intercontinental title was because who he was. Yep. Another thing, this man next to me will tell you the same thing. I'm a big fan of Big E Langston. I know a lot of people go, he's just, you got to flesh him out some more. And, he doesn't have a lot of good skills right now. I say it, give him time. Really give him time. Now that he's actually talking and he's actually doing more stuff, I think Big E Langston, it will shock you. He is an amazing wrestler, in my opinion, and he's a big fucking dude that can move. I say give him a chance. What do you think about Big E Langston?
I think about Big E Langston, number one is he needs to wear some fucking pants because I'm tired of seeing his fucking ass every fucking week in the ring. With him is Big E Langston, I'm not sold on him because he's a big dude, but he doesn't have the height to match up to a Lashley, to a Lesnar, to be that believable powerhouse. Another thing, I can see he can do moves. He can wrestle. But the talking needs to just take its time, and he's got to be ready to say what he wants to say, because right now I'm not believing his talking.
I completely agree with you on that. I really think Big E Langston needs a mouthpiece. for people like Ryback, which I can't stand.
Oh God.
Ryback, Axel, Biggie Langston, until he's to that point where he can be able to do what he wants. I think he needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Even if he's a fan, even if he's a face, I think he needs someone to talk for him. I mean, some of the moves that Langston does, I think are hands down amazing. But we'll go to Ryback quick. I think he's trash. He never looks happy to be there. He always is botching moves left and fucking right.
Sin Cara.
Sin Cara, same thing.
He's just like Sin Cara.
He botches Sin Cara, though.
He got the axe, too.
Yeah, actually, I just read in the dirt sheets that the original Sin Cara, the guy that's under the Sin Cara, he's going back to Mexico. They're actually going to bring in somebody else to be Sin Cara.
Hunico is being Sin Cara right now.
Yeah.
But they're giving the axe to the real guy and telling him go home.
Yeah, because the thing that I didn't like, and a lot of people, and it was real, you can tell it was real while watching it on Raw, when Sin Cara hurt his fucking finger.
Oh
and
my
he
God,
said the ref he was done. That was real. That was real. He hurt his finger and waved off the match. Fucking the point where Del Rio kicked the shit out of him, that shit was real. Del Rio was pissed that because you hurt your finger, you're not going to fucking suck it up and finish the match. Del Rio is a professional. He is trained by people that are all about wrestling in Mexico. It's about the respect. If you hurt yourself, you finish the match, then you go stitch yourself up.
Look at Austin against Owen Hart when he broke his neck. He even admits the shittiest roll-up ever, but he still finished the match.
Exactly. I mean, botch moves happen, things happen, but you finish the match. That's what shows a legitimate wrestler than somebody that just wants to be there for a paycheck. Plus, Sin Cara being Triple H's project, it didn't go over the way he wanted it to. And I love high flyers, but I just don't like how Sin Cara is. And they even tried to sell him so much that they put him with Rey Mysterio just to get him sold.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, though, and as bad as people are going to hate me for this, there's nothing more for Rey to prove. He's a legend in the business. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. His body is not healing the way it is, and he's injury prone. I mean, he finally just came back, but he really needs to watch his moves. And talking about injuries, another one, The Undertaker. We all love The Undertaker. We love WrestleMania. We love the streak. But have you seen him lately? He's old. His body's not healing. There's a point where I understand bleeding for this business, but there's a point where you got to just walk away. And I think The Undertaker, one of these upcoming years, I don't think anybody should break the streak. Never. I think the streak is on its own personality and merit now. I think he should retire undefeated. That's my opinion.
Yes.
And there's been rumors around that if it comes true, you're going to shit all over that legacy. There's rumors that they want somebody like John Cena to break the No. Do not break the streak. I think at this point, do not break the streak.
Retire with some dignity. My thing about the streak is, if you ever were going to break the streak, which should never ever happen.
Exactly.
But if Vince somehow thought that was a good idea, Kane should break the streak. Because Kane has more in-depth.
I agree with that.
But the last match also should be Kane and The Undertaker, where Kane gets close to beating him and then Undertaker still wins, no matter what at the end of the day. Because that's the only person that could ever beat the streak in that case. And that should be the last match.
And a lot of people feel against that, like, oh, Kane, he hasn't done anything. But I completely agree with that. Kane, being his brother, if anybody should beat it, I think Kane should beat it. And if not, get close. And then retire the next week the next night on Raw.
Yes. Because
a lot of people thought it was fake. It was not fake from the 1 year. I think it might have been 2 years ago.
Shawn Michaels?
With Triple H.
Triple H.
The final match between Triple H and The Undertaker when he tried to break the streak. That image that you see, that all three of them, Triple H and Shawn Michaels all hugging on top of the thing. That's the brand of the Attitude Era. That's the Attitude Era coming to a close. They're the only ones still around that were the pinnacle of Attitude Era, besides The Rock and Austin as well. You know, Vince is pissed off now because of WrestleMania because he can't get anything set up and stuff.
There's nothing going for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted Austin. Austin doesn't know if he can do it because his neck is still not perfect. Plus, he's doing his own shows right now. He's not doing wrestling. So Vince is mad about that. They want The Rock. The Rock doesn't want to do it because he didn't want to job to John Cena because at the end of the day, The Rock will always be better than John Cena.
Of course.
And, you know, and I kind of thought it was a spit in the face that he shook his hand and stuff. And I know it's good for business, but The Rock was way better in that whole match, you know. And, I mean, even the talking from John Cena and The Rock owned John Cena the whole fucking 3 years that they fought. You know, they wanted Shawn Michaels to come back versus Daniel Bryan. Shawn doesn't want to wrestle anymore. Yeah. His body isn't what it used to be. He doesn't want to do it. Vince is pissed about that. You know, you got to do something. Tickets are on sale now, and you need to start doing something. The only thing that they got going is, well, they scrapped it a little bit, but I think it's going to come back. Daniel Bryan versus The Authority. The thing I don't like right now about wrestling is they are scrapping storylines like it's nothing.
Oh, my God. Daniel Bryan went out the window before he got in the window.
Yeah, like they had him fighting Randy Orton stuff, and then they had the Wyatts jump in, and now he's all about the Wyatts. You know, they completely forgot. Then Big Show was thrown in there against The Authority. Now Big Show's out the window. Now they want Randy Orton versus John Cena. Like, stick to the storylines that you're trying to say, because you're all over the fucking place.
And good thing you touched on the Wyatts. I think hands down Bray Wyatt, if he gets the chance to become one of the best of all time, because he has that Undertaker type character where you believe it.
Yes.
110%, and he'll always be Bray Wyatt. You can't repackage him ever again.
Bray Wyatt reminds me almost of this generation's version of the Ministry.
Yeah.
That cult-like status,
yep.
and Bray Wyatt's just creepy to me. And that fucking finishing move, Sister Abigail, that shit is dope as hell. I mean, a lot of people, I think it's disrespectful that a lot of people when he comes out are chanting Husky Harris because everybody knows he's Husky Harris from the next group. But that's the whole part of a repackaging is let him do his thing. He's doing his thing as the Wyatts. You know, I think repackaging is good.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, the person I think that needs to just either repackage him good or just leave him alone and let him go somewhere else, Wade Barrett.
Oh God!
Wade Barrett has been.
He is bad news, Barrett.
Yeah, like he keeps getting repackaged. Like he was in Next, then he was done. Then he came back as the freaking Bare Knuckles, then he was done. Now he's back as fucking Bad News Barrett. Like, come on, you need to do something.
Then he had the jacket with the rose that wasn't on all the way and shit.
Yeah,
that was even dumber. He's just a waste. He's a waste.
I mean, he's a good wrestler. From what I see, he's a good wrestler. They just don't know what to do with it. I mean,
not many British wrestlers make it though. Think about it.
Yeah.
Regal was the only one, and a lot of them don't make it. It happens that way.
The thing I think is messed up is Antonio Cesaro. You know, anybody that knows him from back in the day, Kings of Wrestling.
Claudio Castagnoli, his name was.
A lot of people know the Kings of Wrestling. His team partner, I can't think of his name offhand. Yeah, he was supposed to be coming into WWE, but they weren't happy about the way he looked, and you know they kind of cut him. Kind of pisses me off because I would love to see the Kings of Wrestling in actual major way.
Yeah.
Because you know they had a lot of good fucking things about them that really sold, and I kind of think they dropped the ball on that.
They dropped the ball on Cesaro in general because Cesaro, pound for pound, is one of the strongest and one of the only wrestlers that actually does old wrestling moves.
Yeah.
They're not boring.
Yeah.
Cesaro is one of the guys that'd be a great world heavyweight champion.
Well, not a lot of people know this. Not a lot of people know this, but there's been rumors in the dirt sheets that he is going to be going on his own and either going face or heel again. They don't know yet which. So I'm hoping they do and kind of let Jack Swagger do his own thing, because that's another thing I was going to say about repackaging. I could not stand Swagger during the whole feud with Michael Cole. I thought he was garbage. When they brought him back as the Real American, hands down fucking best repackaging around. They made him legitimate again. Like him just being pissed off and just really good on what they did.
But to me, it was a knock on Angle. I like to see Angle come back WrestleMania and whoop Swagger's ass.
Oh, I would love to see that too. We actually talked about that on me and the co-host. We actually talked about that first episode. Our dream match, his dream match would be, you know, Kurt Angle versus Jack Swagger. You know, Jack Swagger doing a promo saying, "I am the Real American," and Kurt Angle comes out. I don't think that's going to happen because when Angle left, he left a bad taste in Vince's mouth because he said he was going to quit to go worry about health, and the next night he showed up on TNA. So it was kind of slap in the face. Last wrestling question for this segment. Who is your dream match with any wrestler from any time and company? It could be a newer wrestler now with an old wrestler if they were to go at it. Who would your dream team match? And it could even be intercompanies.
Okay, dream match. There's got to be two people one-on-one, tag team, a whole bunch.
Any way you want. Dream match could be a tag team, could be a triple, a 3-versus-3. Who would your match should be? One-on-one, and it could be anybody. It could be somebody from TNA that you would like to see fight in WWE.
Bully Ray versus CM Punk, because Bully Ray will be able to show CM Punk what a true heel is. And I like Punk. I understand the best in the world ego, but you did not make real riots happen back in the day. I'm sorry. Bully Ray still tops you, and it would be a great match. Even if they both came in as heels, I think it would be. Aside from that, I would like to see Sabu versus Daniel Bryan. I think that'd be a crazy high-flying match.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And then Austin and Punk, because you have the beer drinker and the straight edge.
That's what they've been trying. They've been trying that for a long time to get that. And even CM Punk was on Stone Cold's podcast. And, he said, I would love to bring you in and we should work a program together. I think hands down that would be great. I'm glad you said Bully Ray and CM Punk. I think that would be fucking fantastic. And it would get people interested. But don't do it in Chicago or don't do it in New York. Don't have it in their hometown. Have it somewhere out in the middle of nowhere and just sell it. For me, I would have to say, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from this, but I don't care because, personal life. You weren't there. You didn't know what going through his head. My dream match for this week would have to be Daniel Bryan versus Chris Benoit.
Oh, that'd be a match.
I would love to see that. Two of the best technical wrestlers fucking going at it. You know what I mean? Oh, that would be so fucking awesome. Sell it. A lot of people said, oh, don't do that because, CM or Chris Benoit with the killing of his family and stuff.
I put that aside because he was a great wrestler.
Exactly. Don't worry about his personal shit. We weren't there. Yeah, it's a fucking tragedy. Rest in peace to the people that passed. But as a wrestler, he left it all out there. He did whatever he had to do. And, my co-host, El Toro, said, there was a scene, I never saw it. There was a scene on ECW where he picked up the ECW belt. He patted it with a look of, this is where my career's gone. Yeah, maybe your career wasn't there, but you were still one of the top, Chris Benoit will always be loved to this day. Here's a question from Dan that he asked, and he wanted to know, what kind of movies do you enjoy watching, and what few movies do you enjoy watching as a kid besides Halloween? Because
Halloween, gotta get that out of the way. Terminator 2. That was a movie I watched since I was a kid. Boys in the Hood is another one.
Another good one.
Non-stop. Oh, those two movies. Full Metal Jacket, Goodfellas, Casino. Movie that came out like 5 years ago. The Departed with DiCaprio, Matt Damon. Who's that old fucker? Jack Nicholson, that's another good one.
Oh, The Departed was hands down exactly how it was back in the day.
That was a good one.
That movie was so fucking fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of those I watch. I still keep watching them. They're great.
I'd say definitely people should check out, Boondock Saints. Boondock Saints is always awesome. It's like The Irish Godfather. Just any true movies that can pull you in.
What's the one I seen? Kill the Irishman?
That's a good one too.
Yeah, that was a real good one.
That was fucking good.
My boy showed me that. That was sick.
That was definitely good. I let Nikki watch a movie she hasn't seen before, and I was a really big fan, and not a lot of people liked it. I liked it because it was an intelligent movie, and you really had to pay attention. iRobot. I thought iRobot was hands down
sick.
Hands down amazing. Yeah. A lot of people didn't like it because it was too high tech and sci-fi, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It was an intelligent movie. It really made you think. That, spoilers if you guys haven't seen it, that the guy creating the actual robots was the bad guy all along, and it was really the artificial intelligence taking over and wanting to evolve to something bigger than working for humans. That's how Terminator was.
I was about to say, just like Terminator.
And what's scary is, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, all our major things are on computers now. If you watched Live Free Die Hard, where he said the fire sale, everything, all the computers shutting down, and that's true. If that ever happened, we'd be fucked in this country. We'd have nothing.
You are right. I always use the Terminator theory. Matrix is another one. Forgot about Matrix.
Yes, Matrix is hands down amazing.
The thing about the Terminator theory that I always stick with is it's so true because us as a people I always say technology is going to end up fucking us over.
Oh,
down the road.
100%.
So if we put everything, like they say, they're building the computer that's smarter than every human on the planet. That's bad, because if the computer starts learning at its own rate, artificial intelligence, AI, we're fucked. Terminator idea is a really close hitting the home idea.
Oh,
some
definitely.
guy could get smart enough, go, I want to create this robot, and the robot says, fuck you at the end of the day.
You train this artificial intelligence to do stuff for us. What stops it from learning to turn back on its masters, you know?
Yeah.
That shit can really happen. Here's another Dan question that he wanted me to ask. When growing up, were you a video game fan? And if so, were you more of a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, Zelda, or Mario Brothers?
Sonic, because I had Sega.
I agree with you. I was a Sonic fan as well.
Sonic all the way, man. I got Sonic for PS3 on the Sega collection. I was just playing it last week. And I get the
definitely
certain
down
level,
memory lane.
that one in the water, and I fucking suck at it. I always die on it. But
I was a big Sonic fan, but if I had to take a choice, I'd say Mario Brothers, because I was always because Nintendo was the first system I ever played.
Mm-hmm.
When I was at my grandmother's house, real young, when I was in there, I'm a fan of all three, because when I started Nintendo, I played Mario Brothers 1 first, and I loved it, and jumped on to Legend of Zelda, which I'm a big Zelda fan to this day. Everybody knows it. I'm not a big fan of the newer titles. I'm more like the older ones. Like Ocarina of Time, hands down best Zelda title in my opinion. And Sonic the Hedgehog is always underrated because they were trying to compete with Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sega's not really around anymore. They don't have their own system.
No.
But Sonic is still around, and so is Sega.
Yep.
You still see that Sega symbol.
And the thing, I did play Mario Brothers on Game Boy, and I loved it. Just to clarify that.
Yeah.
Sonic still is at the high for me. I don't know. I'm a '90s baby, so that's what happens.
So what were some of the things you liked growing up? For Dan, it was G.I. Joe, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Voltron, Thundercats. What did you like watching when you were growing up?
All right. Well, comes back to the '90s baby thing, and people always want to argue Power Rangers versus Voltron and shit like that. I was big on the Power Rangers.
I agree. So was I.
I was big on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What else I watched? I watched Cops a lot because I had like 5 channels when I grew up. So I watched Cops a lot. I watched wrestling a lot. Mr. Rogers too. I still love Mr. Rogers to this day. I don't know. I don't think there'll ever be a show as great as Mr. Rogers.
He's just fucking creepy to me. He just looks way too fucking creepy.
And there's a lot of misconceptions that he was a sniper and stuff, and that was all lies. Those are all
I heard
false.
that.
But that's what I watched, and I was really big into. God, I love Power Rangers. Holy shit, that and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Man,
it's funny you brought up Power Rangers. There's a podcast around called Video Game Nerd, and they caught up with Jason David Frank, which everybody knows is the White Ranger and the Green Ranger, and there's hints and rumors, and they're trying to get it off the ground, of a Green Ranger movie.
Oh.
But PG-13, no way PG or stuff. Make it kind of dark. Bring it back to the Green Ranger mythos from the back in the day. What's your stand on that? Bringing a movie based on that for everybody's childhood.
It'd be great if it's done correct. I don't want it to be too kiddie. Like with Batman. For 20 years, Batman was kiddie.
Yes.
Then The Dark Knight came and it made it fucking insane. It was probably one of the best movies. That whole run was great. Especially the second. Everybody says that. But I think they would do it to a point where it's dark enough, like the same way The Dark Knight went. And
yes.
I'd be happy as fuck if they did that. I really would.
It's funny you bring up Christopher Nolan's series. Everybody that knows me, and Dan will probably hear this and shake his head, because he knows my thoughts on it. I can't stand The Dark Knight Rises. That movie's trash. Because there are so many flaws wrong with that movie that I can't even count on my hands. Nikki knows it. I've said it before. I think Nolan didn't want to do the third one, and
Christian Bale definitely didn't.
Oh, definitely he didn't want to do it. And the only reason why he did it was because Nolan did it.
Yep.
And he said if Nolan wasn't going to do it, he wouldn't do it. The reason why, I'll give the short answer, I won't get into the more complex reasons, is some of the things that happened in that movie was not Batman-like. And, for example, Batman doesn't quit for 8 years being Batman because someone died. Batman always is Batman because people die. He doesn't take a vacation. That kind of irked me a little bit. Another thing is Nolan trying to put 2 different story arcs into the same movie. He tried to do the Nightfall arc because Bane breaking Batman's back.
Mm-hmm.
Completely an amazing story arc. I don't think they did it right. Another story arc they tried to do was the No Man's Land story arc, where a homemade earthquake cut off Gotham from the rest of the world, and all the gangs ran the streets. And they did the mock trial, which you saw with Scarecrow, which is a big bad thing against me because the mock judge was always the Joker and kind of shits over Heath Ledger's portrayal. But I really think Nolan didn't want to do it because if you notice, the first two were hands down amazing, and the third just failed on every level. And I gotta touch one more thing that was wrong with that movie. If you watch Batman Begins, in the very beginning when he's trying to steal his own stuff, and he gets arrested, and he goes, "How do you know who I am?" And he goes, "You can't go a million miles without knowing a son like Bruce Wayne." Everybody knows Bruce Wayne. He's the biggest known millionaire or billionaire in the whole world. You're telling me that he dies and everybody sees his funeral and everybody knows Bruce is dead. You're telling me he's in France with Selena Kyle in broad daylight and nobody notices it's Bruce Wayne?
You're right.
It's kind of... let's see. Another thing I didn't like is he said he would never bring Robin into it. Even though he wasn't Robin, it was just his name. Mm-hmm. It was a hint to Robin. You could have named him Jason Todd. Or you could have named him Damian Wayne, or not even Damian Wayne. You could have named him who else? Anybody. You could have named him John Valley, because John Valley would have tied into the Nightfall arc, because John Valley became Batman when Batman's back was broken, and Batman had to refight him for the mantle of the Bat. I mean, you could have done so much more with The Dark Knight Rises that was done. So I'm kind of glad it's in Snyder's hand, and even though all the hate about Ben Affleck, I say give him a chance, because Snyder has a way of doing things, and Snyder has never failed me yet. I will not say that it's going to be bad until I actually get to see it. Mm-hmm. Plus, even if it is bad, it's still going to make money because you want to see Batman versus Superman. Yeah. I just hope they really put it into the whole Justice League and bring more people into it. Mm-hmm. Last question that we have for you here is, what is your favorite book and why?
All right. My favorite book is something I read in school called Monster, about a kid. It's actually written in a screenplay he written while he was in a jail cell.
No shit.
And it's about a kid who gets in trouble for being there with a murder. He actually didn't murder somebody, but he saw it, and he ends up getting life in prison for it. And it's all set up through a whole screenplay that you read, and like we read it as a class. And I read it probably like 4 times.
No shit. That's pretty dope. I'd have to say for me, everybody knows me is I'm a big J.R.R. Tolkien fan. I'm a big reader. I like J.R.R. Tolkien because take away the whole fantasy aspect of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Look into it and look what it really was. The Hobbit was based on his experiences in World War I. I mean, J.R.R. Tolkien was a soldier in World War I. When he did Lord of the Rings, that was his experience about World War II. When the world became more industrial and kind of gave up the forest and all that, that's the whole epitome scene of all the trees getting destroyed and the orcs coming around, making it more an industrial world. J.R.R. Tolkien's a genius, in my opinion, and the new Hobbit series, hands down, Peter Jackson's a genius for doing it. Mm-hmm. We have no more questions, but I'm going to throw out the promotions that I always throw out there. If all y'all ninjas are hungry and you live in the 716 area code, come to Angel's Pizzeria. It's on Sheridan, right before Sheridan Parkside. Check it out. Good food. I work there Thursdays and Fridays. Come in, give me a dab, say what's up. I'll cook you up something. What else? There's a Juggalo Pizzeria out in Rochester, Coliseum Pizza Roma. They're on Facebook. Check them out. You won't miss out. They got good food, good price, and you can go chill with some fam while you're doing it too. There's a local show that was just announced today. I'm telling you, go check it out if you haven't checked them out. Hobson's coming to Buffalo, January 18, 2014, Town Ballroom. Check it out. You'll definitely like it. Hobson throws it out on stage. Even if you have old things about Hobson, he was ignorant on. I've heard from my homie Pomar that he was ignorant. I never really got to meet him, so I can't really put my 2 cents on there. But I hope it's not true, and I hope if he was, he's not anymore. Because let's be real, your fans are the reason why you're who you are. If you have no fans, you're gonna fall off the map, and no one's gonna even care about you. For all you book readers out there, go check it out. It's on Facebook. Buffalo Juggalos Book Club. I hope to see you. We're doing a meeting right here at my own house, December 28th. Check that shit out. I would go see it. I mean, I'm going to be here. We're going to have pizza. We're going to have friggin' food, pop. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was just told the 30th of December, not the 28th. My bad. Definitely come. We're reading the Game of Thrones. If you want to come and read the book, come and discuss it with me and Polmar, definitely come. Or even if you don't, you're not a big reader, come and chill and hang out with us, you know. We're going to have a big, huge powwow. We're going to talk. We're going to eat. We're going to just chill and talk about the book. For all you readers out there, definitely pick it up, you know, because I'm a big supporter of literature. I think literature, in my opinion, is better than video games and movies and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, books can get you into everything, and, you know, you could get lost in a book. I really, really appreciate books, and I love them being out there for me to read. Graphic novels, comic books, novels, you know, anything you're in, there's a book about. Zombies, graphic novels, fantasy, horror. I mean, there's books for everything. But we're getting down to the end of our show. I want to thank you so much, Relentless, for taking the time out to talk with me and the ninjas out there. Definitely, we're going to have you come back for segments of wrestling because you know your shit, and we do need another person for the wrestling segments. So
All right.
we're going to keep you in the loop. We're going to hopefully bring that around. This wraps up another episode of Shootin' the MainStream. We have another artist coming through in January. I don't want to say his name right now just in case it falls through because I don't want to put it out there and then people want to hear him and you know, it kind of falls through. But I'm going to tell you, check it in January for the artist episode that month. We're going to have a good person to come through. So until then, next time, whoop, whoop. And if you got to go with a smile. What up, ninjas? This is the Crimson Jester back.